Marshall County High School active shooter. People down, one unresponsive.
2 teens killed after a Kentucky high school student opens fire on his classmates.
And I just see like fire coming from a gun.
We still have 5 in critical condition and 2 deceased.
As the community mourns.
And this is a wound that is going to take a long time to heal.
And now this small town is the scene of the latest school shooting. The news starts now.
15-year-old male student walked into the school with a pistol in his hand, immediately opened fire.
A mass shooting at a Kentucky high school. 2 students killed, their classmate expected to be charged with murder. 12 other students were shot, and tonight 5 of them remain in critical condition.
Police have the suspected gunman in custody, but so far no motive has been released. More unbelievable images today as widespread flooding drowns houses, cars, trees, and more underwater. Right now, the Ohio River is cresting, but more rainfall is in the forecast, unfortunately. Thanks for joining us tonight for Wave 3 News at 5. I'm Shannon Kogan.
And I'm Scott Reynolds. Louisville now under a state of emergency, joining other counties in Wave Country. Mayor Fisher saying that cleaning up the metro will cost at least $2.8 million.
Our team coverage kicks off with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harnett, who is hitting the water tonight to give us a look at what's happening out there. And where are you right now, Kevin?
We're just off Lime Kiln right now, Shannon. If you know this area, it's nothing new to flooding, but you can see just how intense it is. We will be getting in a boat coming up shortly with the Harrods Creek Fire and Rescue teams, and we're going to show you what it looks like from a different perspective than what you've seen. It's one thing to look at it from the air, and you can see the rooftops like this greenhouse, bleachers floating. There are a number of things you can see when you're in the water, so we'll show that to you coming up over the next hour and a half.
It's only getting worse out here on Melwood Avenue. You can see a car that has found itself trapped halfway into a ditch this morning off of Melwood Avenue. We're close to Zorn Avenue too. This driver is okay. When we pulled up, he was able to get out and talk to us. He said he simply was trying to turn around because he saw how deep the water was up ahead of him. And of course, he just landed in the ditch a little bit. He's waiting on someone to come pull him out. That person is on their way. As you look further beyond this green car here, you can see at least 3 more vehicles trapped in high water right here on Melwood Avenue.
And we're breaking in right now to bring you some breaking news from downtown Louisville. A fire has broken out inside the Kentucky Center for the Arts. That's a look right there from one of our many SkyTrack cameras. The Kentucky Center, located in the heart of downtown Louisville at 6th and Main. It's right across the street from the Humana building. And again, we know that this started at around 2:07. Firefighters arrived on the scene. They saw some smoke coming from the roof. They tried to get inside. The smoke has sort of intensified.
There's the top of a telephone pole, if this tells you how high the water is. So you typically drive down River Road and never even see that. But we are so high, we're at the power line level here. If you look off to your left-hand side there, Doug, that's Juniper Beach, and you may recognize some of those condos there. But obviously 2 stories. You're seeing 1 story because the bottom area is flooded. Not only is the water high, but there's a lot of debris in the water. It is not safe to be out on the water. We've seen a number of kayakers and so forth. We're out here with the Harrods Creek Fire Department, St. Matthews Fire Department. We've got firefighters with us, not only navigating but also steering and making sure that we are safe, so we appreciate their help. We're going to give you some views that you've likely not seen before from the water level coming up, but I've driven down River Road many times, but it's always been in a car, not a boat.
It's a very active scene right now for firefighters as they are up on the roof of the Kentucky Center. Fire crews have said that they are still considering this an active fire as they deal with different patches. The wind and the heat are creating some challenges as they respond to and work to put out this fire that has been out. They said that the shape of the roof is also creating some challenges. They do have many EMS crews on site as well as they work to keep an eye on their firefighters and make sure that they are responding safely and they are doing everything that they can to get that fire out safely for the Kentucky Center and for themselves. Again, that wind creating a bit of a challenge.
Again, here's a live look from Air 3. Doesn't matter how many times you see it, it's hard to believe. Oh, those flooded areas in Wave Country. Water is several feet high in some places. You can see it, homes, lawns, cars, and roads. all underwater in several parts of wave country tonight.
And Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harned out live in the water tonight with the Harrods Creek Fire Department. Kevin, when will these floodwaters start to get out of here?
It's going to take a while. In fact, we're only going to add more water to it by Wednesday and Thursday. Don't suspect that the crest will go any higher than where we are now, but it is going to take some time for the waters to recede, especially totally. Now, we're just off of River Road, Juniper Beach. You're going to see some sites here that these folks have dealt with in the past, but the last time it's been this high was 1997. You see some of these homes, the bottom level totally flooded, making its way into the second level. Some new construction going on here, again being built with that first level as flood zone, so to speak. Now this house, on the other hand, is completely up to its roof line, and you'll see that that water is encroaching just on top of the gutter level of that one home there.
When will the show go on after a 3-alarm fire at the Kentucky Center for the Arts? The fire started just after 2 this afternoon. The flames ignited by a contractor who was working to repair the roof. A total of 70 firefighters called in to fight this, and it took them 3 hours to get the fire under control.
It's sad. You know, I've had a chance to be on Harrods Creek and on the river many times over the years, and in fact this place behind me I've been to countless times. This is Cunningham's, and it's creekside, all right. In fact, the water is making its way to its rooftop there, so that's where we are now, right here on Harrods Creek. Point out that as we take the camera around, you'll see River Road, that's the overpass there, and the water to Harrods Creek is right up to the base of that, so no hope of boats, kayaks, anything that you would typically see in the summertime going under it, going through today. Let's do a little weather. I want to start out with the river levels and the forecast crest. We likely have crest. Noticed in the last update, the water is going down just a bit.
How bad is the crack cocaine problem in Louisville? This is undercover video I shot recently of what appears to be people buying and counting white rocks at an apartment building on 29th Street, 50 yards from the front door of Brandeis Elementary School. Buyers who get stuck without a way to smoke crack cocaine there can find help conveniently at nearby stores.
Hey, can I get a kit too?
Okay.
Yeah.
That voice is me, undercover with a hidden camera, asking the clerk at Dixie Food Mart for what's called a kit. A small glass pipe, a copper chore boy scrubber that serves as a filter, and sometimes a lighter included too, all packed in a small brown paper bag. Basically, a crack cocaine smoking kit.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You have a good.
This kit purchase is made at Dixie and Standard, right across the street from an addiction recovery center, and right in the middle of a zone with high illegal drug arrest numbers running from Dixie Highway to 28th Street. I went out undercover with a coworker to convenience stores in that zone and asked a simple question.
Can I get a kit too? Kit?
Without requesting the individual items, they're assembled and bagged up right there, like Daily Mart at Dixie and Wilson.
$5.55.
Can I get a kit?
Same story at 26th and Chestnut.
Can I get a kit?
Dino's Food Mart at 26th and Broadway. The clerk at Shorty's at Dixie and Date tries to talk my coworker out of it while packing and selling her a kit for the second day in a row. A couple stores we visited,
No, we don't. I'm sorry.
like Tony's Convenient Mart at 26th and Broadway, do not sell kits. But 9 times we walk out of stores with crack cocaine smoking kits costing anywhere from $4 to $7.
To tell you the truth, I was quite shocked and somewhat amazed.
That's Wave 3 News safety and security expert Deshaun Johnson's reaction to our investigation. He was a Louisville narcotics officer for 12 years.
Separately, each one of these items mean nothing. But when you combine them, they become what's called drug paraphernalia.
In Kentucky, kits designed for use in converting, processing, or preparing controlled substances are a Class A misdemeanor.
And what you're doing is that you're perpetuating drugs in this community and you're profiting from it. So you're no better than the local drug dealer himself.
When we went back to the workers who sold us kits, we encountered denial, then ignorance of their purpose every time.
Because we bought them directly from you, man. Do you know what you're selling here?
I didn't sell it, so why you coming at me about it?
We've got you on video selling it.
You don't have me on video selling anything.
Yeah, no, we really do.
Please leave.
Okay, we will. You tell us leave, we'll leave. When someone says, I need a kit, and you pack these things in this bag,
This is how we got.
how did you know what to put in the bag?
This is how everybody does. It's not just me.
No, it's several stores. I know.
Yeah, so, I mean, I got no clue what is the purpose of it or what they do.
I don't smoke. I don't have any idea.
How do you know what to put all in here when someone says, I need a kit, like we did?
I don't know.
This is used for crack cocaine. It's to smoke crack cocaine.
I figured it could be something like that, but I don't know like anything about it, you know.
Do you know what people are using these things for? So you're not going to answer any questions?
And this is something that should shock the community. This is something from a community standpoint where community leaders should get involved.
I was only able to reach one owner who denied selling kits at his store, but didn't call me back when I offered to show him the video. The county attorney's office can't remember ever prosecuting any cases like this. Other cities discovering these kits for sale, like Detroit, Gainesville, and Tucson, responded by shutting down stores and making felony arrests. John Bowl, Wave 3 News.
Has only confirmed that 2 people were shot.
Then gunfire between the officers and the suspect broke out.
This is the city's 83rd homicide. In front of this apartment. Shot outside a home.
Camera video from a deadly shooting.
He was shot in the back March 2nd.
A double shooting in the Shawnee neighborhood.
And now he's not here.
2-6 and Duncan, 2-6 and Duncan. It's gonna be a 1050. Start me EMS.
Sometimes it seems like a never-ending narrative, captured through our lenses.
That's typically, like, I think the perception when, you know, when you think of the West End.
But here's a different look from another camera. Meet Walter and Shay Smith.
All right, let's do it.
The couple lives in West Louisville. With their son in tow, right now they're looking for something different, something other than this.
We wanted to give a voice to those within the community and kind of create a sense of understanding for those within the community as well as outside of the community.
Armed with a camera, they become almost something like neighborhood reporters on the West Louisville beat, finding people, taking their pictures, interviewing them about their stories. Sometimes they have to run.
You don't have to run with me, baby.
To get the good ones.
We decided to paint a picture with West of 9th.
The photos are posted on this Instagram account, West of 9th. The title is a play on the so-called 9th Street Divide. Once you cross it, you enter West Louisville, a community comprised of close to a dozen neighborhoods, filled with diverse stories shared all over the account.
Like when we first came to America,
yeah,
this is where we landed in West End. Like
we never tried to say, you know, everything is sunshine and roses over here. However, we also want to shed light on those resources that are needed. We found that 9 times out of 10, the people that we interview just need someone to talk to.
Solomon, nice to meet you.
Meeting the people that don't always make the headlines.
This is just wonderful to see somebody coming through the city.
We gotta get that picture though.
And maybe encouraging somebody else to come past 9th Street.
All right, thank y'all.
Jobina Fordson.
I think we'll get a good one right here.
Wave 3 News.
Whitehead, what are you doing, man? What did I do, man? I ain't never had a problem. Why you gonna spit on us?
This body cam video, never publicly seen before, is from inside Louisville's jail. Terry Whitehead is in handcuffs.
Bro, you know I don't give y'all problems like that, bro. I do not give you problems like that, Schwartz, bro. You know,
Whitehead is struck in the head by former LMDC officer David Schwartz. This happened in April. Schwartz was immediately fired.
What I saw in that video was shocking and disturbing to me.
Corrections FOP President Tracy Dotson is thankful it was caught on camera.
This is not business as usual for us at all, period.
After he was fired, a Wave 3 News investigation found that Schwartz himself had been arrested in 2004. He pleaded guilty to criminal trespass and attempting to break into or enter a building, and even jotted the arrest down on his LMDC application. We learned he is a personal trainer, former Marine, who went by the name Gunny, as posted in this Facebook picture.
I've been in this business 40 years, and I'd never seen anything quite like that.
These incidents, thankfully, are isolated and rare, and when they happen, we handle them as best we can.
A federal lawsuit against Schwartz and another officer, Devin Edwards, claims the officers pepper sprayed Whitehead and took turns punching him prior to what's seen in Edwards' body cam video.
You act outside of the way that we are trained, outside of the law, we're going to hold people accountable.
Corydon, Indiana is 130 miles from Indianapolis, but if you spend much time around the Corydon Pain Management Clinic, you'll see a fairly steady stream of Indianapolis taxi cabs dropping off and then picking up patients. I watched every morning for a couple of weeks and saw anywhere from 1 to 3 Indianapolis cabs here at a time, almost every morning. Indy Airport Taxi, yellow, and checker cab from the 317 area code.
You guys come all the way down from Indy?
Yeah.
How much do you charge for the ride?
This is the insurance companies, we don't know.
Insurance company picks us up?
The insurance company and the Indy Airport company, they make the deal. We don't know how much is it.
Well, I came from Bedford, Indiana, so it was an hour and 30 minutes to get here, and it was free.
That would normally be an expensive cab ride,
yeah,
wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's about $200-300 normally if you pay cash. It's crazy.
Yeah, he comes all the way from Indianapolis, picks me up, brings me all the way down here.
And there's consensus on who's paying.
Are you Medicaid?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they charge Medicaid just for the ride?
Yeah.
I do Medicaid, so Medicaid, if you have Medicaid, you want to go to the doctor, it's free.
How much do they charge to come down from for the cab ride?
My insurance pays for it.
Oh, your insurance
so
does?
I don't know.
Is it Medicaid?
Yeah.
The patients I talked to said there are much closer doctors to where they live, but they prefer this place.
They actually will treat you and look at more into it in detail and depth and see what's wrong with you and treat you before they actually just, oh, here's some pain pills, go on your merry way.
It's not because we're a pill mill. It's not because we're giving out pain medications to everybody. We stress multimodal therapy.
The doctor in charge at Corydon Pain Management Clinic says they're getting an influx of patients from South Central Indiana because of the shutdown of a pain doctor's offices in Bloomington, Greenwood, and Peru. He says 140 of their 5,000 patients have come from within Indianapolis city limits, and he estimates only 60% of his patients get prescriptions.
Law enforcement is serious about this, and they're not letting doctors off. They're not letting patients off. And
do you feel watched in any way?
Yeah, but I think that's good.
How much do these cab rides cost? Indy Airport Taxi would not talk to me about it or return email. Indianapolis Yellow Cab would only tell me the rate they charge is $2 per mile. A Medicaid spokesperson writes, trips of this length would require prior authorization and a justification of medical necessity. This authorization is provided by the managed care entity that serves each patient, and the maximum amount a taxi is being paid to transport a person on Medicaid to the doctor and home is $30. Something doesn't add up.
Do you know how much they charge for to come down here from there?
I got one cab driver to call dispatch and quote me an exact price.
$195.
$195? Is that if they charge insurance or $195 to insurance?
Yeah, if you want to, if you pay cash, it's the same price.
Pay cash, same price? Okay.
We kept asking questions, but keep running into privacy laws, layers of PR, and lots of red tape. Finally, we took the question to law enforcement. Indiana has the 11th highest statewide opioid prescription rate in the country, and Harrison County is one of the highest in Indiana at 92 per 100 residents. The prosecutor here has been fighting the opioid epidemic for years, and he didn't know about this situation until we told him.
Certainly it has piqued our interest. There is a correlation between Medicaid recipients and those that are abusing opioids. One of the issues that we see with Medicaid as opposed to a private insurer is that there's not the amount of checks and balances.
Meanwhile, the cabs keep rolling in.
I come here every month for the last 2 years.
With satisfied customers.
Yeah, I love it here.
John Bowl, Wave 3 News.
Lights flashing on the empty interstate, a procession breaking hearts on Christmas Eve.
I can't imagine what her family is going through today of all days.
LMPD Chief Steve Conrad, emotional himself, delivering the news that 32-year-old detective Deirdre Mangano was killed during a traffic stop Monday.
Dee Dee, as she was known to her friends and colleagues, gave her life serving the community, which is something she loved to do.
Conrad says Mangado was stopping a pickup truck on I-64 near the Belvedere when an MSD semi-truck ran into the back of her car, causing it to burst into flames. Mangado still inside.
The damage to her vehicle was catastrophic.
Catastrophic damage and the death of a mother police say was caused by 60-year-old Roger Burdett.
Mr. Burdett was booked into Jefferson County Corrections on the charges of murder and operating under the influence.
MSD confirms that Burdett, the man police say was behind the wheel of the city semi-truck, is an employee and released a statement saying they're cooperating with police and send condolences to the Mangado family.
My heart goes out to her mother, her father, her young son.
That on a day that may be seared in the minds of her large family forever. Some of those members bonded by blood and others by blue. And the pickup truck that the detective was initially pulling over did have 4 people inside, but none of them were seriously injured. Live in Louisville, Mike Fussell, Wave 3 News.
There's a different type of warrior that's going home for the holidays.
That warrior's name? Bryson Justice, a 2-year-old superhero with a brand new heart. He's got the scars to prove it.
Show us some big muscles.
Oh my gosh, look at your muscles. August 3rd, Bryson was put on a waiting list for a heart. In October, a donor family offered the life-saving gift.
I cannot wait to meet this family. Through what they've done, I mean, that's the reason he's here.
Besides that family, Bryson has plenty of fellow superheroes to hang with at Norton Children's Hospital, and we're not just talking about the doctors and nurses.
It's just amazing to see all these guys here and how much this little boy impacted them.
The heart transplant medical director is talking about the workers of Messer Construction renovating the hospital. They were not going to miss Bryson's going away party.
He enjoyed watching them. He likes to see equipment moving, seeing what it's doing.
You see, Dad Bobby works in construction too, Bryson's #1 superhero.
Whoa.
Oh.
What's your favorite kind of truck? Big one. The big ones?
Bryson loves anything construction, especially the men and women working around him.
For that, it gave him a little bit of a break from reality.
They eat better. When they're happier, it's like anything else. When you're happy, you do better and you feel better.
Look at that. Bringing Bryson construction toys and gifts, including a signed hard hat. That feeling is mutual.
It's amazing. I mean, to think that we're here renovating the hospital, and to think that something as simple as our day-to-day job is easing the mind of a child who is dealing with the challenges that he's up against in his recovery, it means the world.
It was 1986. The Cardinals became the national champs and celebrating along with the team, assistant coach Bobby Dotson. Fast forward, and Dotson's name now hangs outside of a strip mall in Louisville, where up until recently, he was a State Farm insurance agent.
It takes a lot to be a more hated U of L coach in the news right now, but he might be able to do it.
Megan Whiteside's foot was run over by a car that then took off. When she tried to find out how much uninsured motorist coverage she had, she was told she only had half of what she expected because she'd signed this waiver allowing State Farm to deny part of her claim. But when Whiteside saw the form, she realized that wasn't her signature. That's when Louisville attorney Sam Aguiar got on the phone with Dotson.
It sure as heck didn't look like she signed it. I mean, and that's why I wanted to call you all first before.
In the phone call, Dotson tells Sam that, in fact, it wasn't Megan's signature.
Megan is being truthful. It was a forged signature.
And then the former coach accuses another employee of signing Megan's name using a racial slur.
I just don't know why he would have done something like that. I don't get it. I don't know. It's just. But
he's a lazy ass.
Yeah.
I mean, I recoiled.
Attorney Jasper Ward is working with Sam Aguiar on several lawsuits against a number of other State Farm agencies, making allegations involving fake signatures on waivers that allow State Farm to deny claims. But he says Dotson took things to another level.
I've heard the audio. It's sickening. especially when you find out that that agency has multiple other forgeries that have occurred and that it wasn't the employee that he said.
We went looking for Dotson, went to his agency twice. The walls there, decorated with his championship posters, which includes pictures of himself. But employees there told us Dotson recently retired. State Farm also told us that he, quote, no longer is associated with them. As to the call, they said Dotson's, quote, comments do not reflect our values. We are committed to a diverse and inclusive environment where all our associates and customers are treated with respect and dignity, and where differences are valued.
We look forward to getting him under oath and asking him about it and getting that in front of a jury so they understand the lengths to which State Farm is going to go to defend themselves from this.
We will sing a song for my Kentucky home. My own Kentucky home.
And happy Derby Day. The sun not shining so bright on my old Kentucky home today, but Kentucky Derby 144 is here. 20 horses will be racing for glory and that garland of roses with a nearly $2.2 million purse, all taking place at the most legendary racetrack in the world, Churchill Downs.
And this is when the world watches Kentucky, watches Louisville, watches Churchill Downs, watches the great race. 144. That's the number we're at, and it's an amazing day when those 40 pounds of roses are finally draped over the winner, who may go on possibly to be the next American Pharaoh and win a Triple Crown. We've got some great horses, maybe the greatest field, some say, ever. When Bob Baffert is saying it and the rest of the trainers,
you have to believe it.
Yeah, these horses are spectacular.
From your home for the Breeders' Cup, the Kentucky Derby station. You're watching Wave 3 News. More local now.
The Breeders' Cup is back under the twin spires of Churchill Downs for the 9th time, the first time since 2011, and it is a bit of a windy, chilly Friday afternoon.
From the official Kentucky Derby station, Wave 3 News, sunrise at the Downs right now.
You're watching Wave 3 Sunrise at the Downs. It is 6 o'clock, and we have a very serious situation up here on the track. Alarms went off just a couple of minutes ago, and we think we know what's going on here. We have an injured horse, it looks like, as the equine ambulance is rolling up right. You can see it on camera right there. Now, the horse is upright. They got the horse fairly fast and got him up, and he has not gone down to the ground, at least that I've seen.
No, we haven't seen it yet. We do know the alarm's obviously still going off here. Everyone on the backside coming over to the rail, kind of taking a look at what's going on. You can see that gentleman just getting out of the equine ambulance right there, going to the back. Again, we see one horse next to it that's still standing up, two of them actually, but the third one out of view now, facing kind of the grandstands, still upright but clearly injured.
So last year we had an incident during training Derby week where a horse dropped right in front of the media area and had a heart attack and passed away. This situation, this was resolved fairly fast. They were able to corner the horse so it couldn't do any damage to any other horses. And like I said, it was upright. And from our vantage point, it didn't look badly injured, but you can never tell. And a smart jockey, like you saw Chris Antley do in the Belmont in 1999 when Charismatic broke his leg going for the Triple Crown, jumped off the horse, remember that epic shot, and held the horse, held his leg so he would not further damage it, because when the horses continue on these broken legs, the horse can further damage it. So somebody got this horse fast and held it, and it was upright, and now the equine ambulance is moving here.
Our Pass the Cash nomination was handwritten and heartfelt.
My good friend Lisa found out she had ovarian cancer in June, I think it was.
Friends for almost 2 decades.
And she's the sweetest person you'll ever meet.
Lisa is also facing what could be some life-changing hurdles in her life.
She had her surgery this past week, but then she still has more chemotherapy to go through. And she's been on medical leave, but it's been weeks and it's run out.
The medical leave and the money have run out.
She was able to get disability, but it doesn't start for 6 months after you apply, so it won't start until December. And she's the type that won't ask for help. I was just hoping she don't get mad at me for asking for her.
We heard Vicky's plea to pass the cash, so Wave 3 News starts out with $300. We have got a family that's been giving a grant of another $500. And then Vicky gave us a little surprise.
All right. And I have $400 to add to
Oh my goodness! So we've got $1,200. Vicky knew Lisa would be home.
Oh my gosh!
Hello. Happy to see us, but curious.
What are you girls up to? We're gonna pass the cash.
With the news came steady tears.
You gotta count it to her. So, hold your hand out for me.
Lisa did her best to hold her composure and the cash.
Oh, I'm shaking.
$1,200.
I love you and thank you for participating in this.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Lisa admits fighting cancer has been anything but easy, but it's been possible because of her faith and her friends.
I'm doing my best to get well. I'm doing absolutely my best, but I couldn't have done it without all my friends and my family. There's no way. I'm very grateful, very thankful to be here today.
When I asked if there was anything else we could do for her, to my surprise, she quickly answered yes.
My son is graduating from boot camp Friday. He's at Fort Benning, Georgia. I would just like everybody to say a prayer for Private Nathan Connor Anderson.
Cancer and all the bills that come with that fight will keep her from her son's side.
If everybody out there would just say a prayer of comfort and strength for him and all these young men in the military and all our young women. And I meant to do this, but I just couldn't pull myself together. Come on, Vic, get over here.
Connor.
I'm so glad to be here today and welcoming my son home.
He's in the Army.
Okay. I missed his family weekend when he was doing boot camp. 10 more minutes at Fort Benning. All I know is 10:50. I have been battle with cancer.
Is your heart pounding?
Yeah. It's looking good now. I didn't tell Connor in the beginning because I did not want him to worry. All the seconds seem like minutes.
Is your son in the Army? I think I sat by him, so he's here.
All right.
He's behind you.
Coming right behind
Thank you.
There he is. There he is. Welcome home, Connor. I'm so glad to see you.
She's gonna need a minute.
Oh, it's you. It's really you. I'm gonna fall.
Steal your thanks for serving. I wanted to shake your hand the whole flight. So you guys have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
So excited. It's been too long. I miss her more than anybody.
I will be telling him now. You like my shirt?
Yeah. Where'd you get that?
I ordered it off Amazon.
What do you do when something bad is going on in the neighborhood?
Basically reported to me that there was child prostitution going on, underage prostitution, children and young teenagers, adolescents were doing sexual favors for money with men that were coming in and out of the house.
This downtown medical professional called police about 1036 South 7th Street after her patients who'd been inside told her it was a drug and child sex trafficking house.
Talking to the LMPD tip line, they have told me that there have been several reports. They said that they would alert the Crimes Against Children unit and set it as a priority.
Unhappy with police response, she asked us to investigate. Every time I secretly watched, for weeks, morning, noon, or evening, I recorded a steady stream of people coming and going after spending anywhere from a minute to an hour inside. They come out, often clutching and checking what appears to be white rocks in their hand. Multiple dealers, hand-to-hand transactions out in the street. Sitting out, taking lots of phone calls, then handing something to people who pull up. Sometimes they appear to be packaging and using the inventory right out in the open. This guy brings a child along and then checks what he just bought in his hand. As for our source's allegation of sex trafficking involving minors, we see what appear to be underage girls going in and out of the house. And scenes like this when they're leaving. The girl puts something in her mouth, the man pulls cash from his sock, and the girl heads down the street with what appears to be a white baggie in her hand. This is all very serious business. A closer look at the video I recorded reveals a flashy handgun brandished in one of the doorways where they don't think they're being seen.
It's just outrageous and it baffles me.
After receiving multiple anonymous crime tips stating narcotics are being sold at 1036 South 7th Street, the Metro Narcotics Unit conducted 2 controlled buys of crack cocaine there and exercised a search warrant on June 13th. Police recovered 5 handguns and a rifle, assorted ammo, bags of crack cocaine, digital scales, and a large amount of currency on Aaron Lyle. Lyle was arrested and charged with cocaine trafficking and possession of handguns by a felon. Tracy Hamilton was cited for marijuana possession and drug paraphernalia. In 2001, Lyle was sentenced to serve 7 years for cocaine trafficking. He was out on probation by 2004, but busted again and sentenced to 2 years in prison for wanton endangerment and cocaine possession. In 2007, Lyle was charged with engaging in organized crime and given probation. And now, after the convicted felon's been charged with dealing cocaine again with 6 guns, his bond was set at $15,000. So 3 days later, he posted 10% of it, $1,500, and was released on home incarceration. Neighborhood residents are furious because a home is where Lyle appeared to be operating from.
These people that are doing these things in that home, they don't care because they haven't really been held accountable and there's no consequences. So, to them, they do whatever they want, and it's out in the open. And so, they're like, we don't care.
After our request to talk with LMPD about this, the detective who made the bust wrote, "I would not feel comfortable doing an interview at this time due to the nature of the case." As for complaints about child sex trafficking there, he wrote, "I did not have any knowledge of underage sex complaints at that location." I requested an interview with Judge Sean Delahanty about where he set the bond, considering Lyle's criminal history and the current charges. He wrote, quote, "No thanks. The purpose of bond is to ensure the defendant's reappearance and prevent future crimes." Then, on July 10th, Metro Corrections caught Lyle violating home incarceration. GPS tracked him away from the home where he was supposed to be, so he was taken back to jail. In court Monday, Judge Delahanty and attorneys discussed possibly releasing Lyle back on home incarceration within a week. John Bowl, Wave 3 News.
Terror at a busy Louisville grocery store.
It was literally like the Wild West out here.
A man and woman murdered.
I'm getting ready to start CPR on this lady, and I looked at her and I was like, "Look, fellas, she's gone. I mean, there's nothing I can do."
While those who came face to face with the suspected shooter suggest race may have motivated the killings.
He said what?
Whites don't kill whites.
Our team coverage continues right now on Wave 3 News at 11.
With breaking news happening now, this is Wave 3 News.
Dodging bullets in the supermarket. 2 people shot and killed at the Jeffersontown Kroger. The shooter being interviewed by police tonight. The question on most minds is why? The scene is now clear, but the Kroger won't reopen until Friday morning. The shooting happened just before 3 o'clock this afternoon. It happened in the Stony Brook Shopping Center. This is located at Hurstbourne Parkway and Taylorsville Road, right across the Target. Wave 3 News reporter David Mattingly has been on this scene all day long, talking to police and witnesses. Have police said anything about a possible motive?
There's a lot police are not able to tell us tonight about why 2 people were murdered here. but it's what the suspect himself said to an eyewitness as he was leaving the scene that's making people wonder if there was a racial motivation for this violence. Police have yet to publicly identify the gunman after allegedly murdering two and exchanging gunfire with an armed witness.
The citizen engaged the suspect with additional gunfire back and forth out here in the parking lot. That gunfire resulted in no injuries. No one else was struck, including the suspect.
Police say the victims may have been chosen at random, but are not ready to say why. Witnesses say the gunman entered the store walking quickly, and seconds later, gunshots. This man took refuge in the store clinic.
So we barricaded the door with the exam bench, and we just hunkered down because there was glass and you could hear the screaming going on outside the door.
The first victim, described only as an adult male, died after being shot multiple times. The killer then exited the store and killed the second victim in the parking lot.
So I hollered out and I said, look, I'm an EMT. Let me get out here and try to help this woman. So they ushered me out, and I come out, and I'm getting ready to start CPR on this lady, and I looked at her, and I was like, look, fellas, she's gone. I mean, there's nothing I can do.
And nothing for anyone to do now except find out why. A witness describes the killer's parting words.
The guy had walked up on him and had a gun in his hand, and my dad had his gun drawn. Said that he wouldn't shoot if he didn't shoot, so my dad just stayed there, and then the guy took off down the parking lot.
So your dad was confronting the shooter?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Did that man say anything, or how did your dad figure out something wasn't right?
He didn't realize it was him till he'd already seen the gun by his side. He said, don't shoot me, I won't shoot you. He's like, whites don't kill whites.
He said what?
Whites don't kill whites.
Sources tell us that both victims were African American. We're expecting to hear more from the Jeffersontown Police tomorrow. Reporting live, David Mattingly, Wave 3 News.
Thankfully, the suspected shooter was arrested by police very quickly, and that is partly because some people in nearby stores were watching him and alerted police to where he was going. This cell phone video was recorded immediately after the shooting. Because the body of one of the victims can be seen, we've blurred parts of it. This is facing the Kroger store entrance. You can see the suspected shooter in that fluorescent green shirt. He's wandering around a bit. The owner of a nearby nail salon was watching him.
He just crossed through the street and go back, cross through the street about like 2 or 3 minutes around that time, and I say, wow, where the police, and where they got, and have to get him right away. He might shot someone else. So I get hurt about like 4 or 5, 7 shot more, and then the police come in and he run.
He's seen getting into a silver car in the parking lot and then pulling out. That's when you can hear the people recording this video start shouting to get an officer's attention.
Hey there! Hey, hey!
Yeah, right here! Right there!
Good guy!
Right there! Yes!
An officer then chases after the suspect as he drives away. Moments later, video shows the suspect pull out of the parking lot onto Hurstbourne Parkway. Officers caught up with him there, surrounded his vehicle, and apprehended him. This video capturing the terrifying and chaotic moments in Jeffersontown. The suspect is now at Jeffersontown Police Headquarters being questioned. LMPD, the FBI, and ATF are also involved in this investigation. And a shooting in such a public place in the middle of the day, raising concerns about safety. Wave 3 News safety and security expert Deshaun Johnson says people should not panic, but they should pay closer attention when out in public.
This is a place where everyone comes. I even come here myself. I visit this grocery quite a bit, and it's a place where everyone shops and feels comfortable, and it's an area that's not known for this type of violence. So people are now on higher alert. So you must be more diligent now, and now the threat level wherever you're at is going to go up, not just only in certain parts of town, but now everywhere. So what you have to do now is be more diligent about where you're at and your surroundings.
Johnson says we cannot be afraid to run everyday errands, but the key is paying close attention to what is going on around you. And there was another deadly shooting in the same parking lot of Kroger in June 2007. Former Jeffersontown police officer Richard Koenig killing Darren Pickerel. The men nearly crashed at a stop sign and then they got into a fight. Koenig said Pickerill pulled his gun first. He was not criminally charged. The shooting making national headlines tonight. You'll find statements from Mayor Greg Fisher, Governor Matt Bevin, Senator Mitch McConnell, and Congressman John Yarmouth, all on wave3.com. And we will have much more on this on our Wave 3 News mobile app, as well as our morning show beginning at 4:30. New tonight at 11. A risky rescue at the Falls of the Ohio in Clarksville. Firefighters called to get a man who had fallen beneath the railroad bridge. It was no easy task. The rope rescue team was called in to rig up a basket-type contraption and then pull that man up. The terrain made it very difficult, though. It was slippery and muddy and covered with driftwood and rocks. After 3 hours, they were able to pull that man up. His injuries unknown tonight. Firefighters say he was alert when taken to the hospital. How he fell is still under investigation. New at 11, the FBI now confirms 2 additional suspicious packages, both addressed to California Democratic Representative Maxine Waters. One was intercepted by U.S. Capitol Police. The other flagged at a mail facility in Los Angeles. Investigators say the devices are similar to 5 others mailed to CNN and prominent Democrats, including President Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. President Donald Trump addressing the packages tonight during a rally in Wisconsin.
What we cannot do is let our disagreements about matters of policy tear us apart as a country. We want all sides to come together in peace and harmony. We can do it. We can do it.
The FBI says the return addresses on the packages is that of former Democratic Chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Investigators now searching for a suspect and a motive. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell saying in part, as we continue to learn more, Americans are united in gratitude for the first responders, the Secret Service, the Postal Service, and other law enforcement who protect our leaders and public figures from such unconscionable acts. New at 11, Ivanka Trump is coming to Eastern Kentucky on Friday. President Trump's daughter and advisor will join Governor Matt Bevin for a tour of workforce training programs. They will visit the East Kentucky Advanced Manufacturing Institute in Paintsville, as well as Morehead State University. A roundtable discussion will take place at Big Sandy Community and Technical College. Guilty verdicts returned today in the college basketball pay-for-play trial. A federal jury in New York convicted Adidas executive Jim Gatto and 2 others on fraud charges. Prosecutors say the 3 men bribed the families of top recruits to get them to commit to Adidas schools, and that includes Brian Bowen at the University of Louisville. His recruitment leading to the convictions of Adidas consultant Murrow and aspiring sports agent Christian Dawkins. The scandal led to the firings of basketball coach Rick Pitino and athletic director Tom Jurich. No one from U of L has been charged criminally. Sentencing is set for March 5th for the other 3, and experts expect Gatto to get up to 7 years in prison, with Code and Dawkins getting around 3. New at 11, the search now on for a southern Indiana man accused of stealing ginseng. 44-year-old Charles Cole of New Salisbury is accused of sneaking onto properties in Harrison and Washington counties and then digging up that ginseng. Police say he's sold 40 pounds so far, and each pound, listen to this, worth up to $650 for a total of up to $26,000. A warrant has now been issued for him. If you know where he is, you're urged to call Indiana DNR. Police brutality and racial inequality. These are tough issues local law enforcement discussed with teenagers at Seneca High School today. The conversation sparked by a new movie where a student witnesses a classmate shot and killed by police. Wave 3 News education reporter Sarah Revest explains how the Hate U Give is providing insight to both students and officers.
A school field trip to the movies. Seneca High students got to see The Hate U Give.
I cried 3 times. I was shaking. It was unbelievable. I was just like, oh my gosh, that's how I can relate around in the world today.
It's not just a movie and a book, like happens like almost every day.
I have this page started where she's talking about the identity thing. Let's do that.
The book was assigned to all freshman students by their English teacher, Christy Davis.
So guys, remember we've been talking about
Mood versus tone. From page 1, I was picturing faces of my kids. Like, I could just hear their stories in the main character's voice, the way she was talking, the things that she was dealing with.
Racial inequality and police brutality, the topics censored in some schools. A district in Texas banned the book, and police officers in South Carolina petitioned to have it removed from the summer reading list. Officers in Louisville are taking a different approach.
We don't have the backdrop of a bad incident. We just got done watching a movie that I think...
They met with students after seeing the movie together and took their questions.
There you go, right there.
I absolutely loved it. I felt like it gave people to start a discussion that needs to happen.
I think the best way to start any kind of dialogue conversation is to really understand where you all are coming from.
We all need to be able to talk to each other, work with each other, and be able to be that environment and that society that works together with each other to stop a most common problem.
Sarah Revest, Wave 3 News.
A special farewell party.
I'm going home.
Why saying goodbye brought such joy to a young boy and those who care for him next. Plus, students at Christian Academy doing some big things, how they plan to feed 100,000 families.
We're in the 40s right now. Temperatures not getting a whole lot better over the next few days. We'll talk about this cool down and our next chance of rain. We're working on a precise forecast to time that out for you from the Weather Garden when we come back. Here are some numbers you'll want to know too. These are the Mega Millions jackpot. It's back down to $40 million. The Powerball jackpot still elevated at $620 million.
Expect more right now. You're watching Wave 3 News at 11 with Scott Reynolds, Shannon Cogan, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harnett, and Sports Director Kent Taylor.
Tonight, for the first time in nearly 150 days, a Kentucky boy is sleeping in his own home. He had a big farewell party after a successful heart transplant at Norton Children's Hospital. It's a story you'll only see on Wave 3 News, and one that's positively Wave. He's known as Courageous Clay.
I'm going home.
12-year-old Clay Pendino is going home in style, driving this car to his heart transplant farewell party.
Just amazing. I couldn't have done it without you guys.
He had hugs for his surgeon.
It's like celebrating, the success story with close friends and family.
Grandfather. Nurses.
I want to come give you a hug.
But not his physical therapist. Who made him work hard to get to this point. 5 open heart surgeries, a heart transplant in August. 146 days in the hospital during his most recent stay.
And now for him to go home and be more of a normal child and be able to run and jump and do all the things, it still seems surreal.
A celebration for a little boy.
Thanks so much for supporting me.
Who has stolen the hearts of those who have cared for him at Norton Children's Hospital.
When he was here in the hospital, I tried to see him every day.
Peace out.
He is just so adorable. Now, Clay was born with what's called hypoplastic left heart syndrome. It affects the normal blood flow through the heart. He'll continue to be monitored, but with his new heart, he should have many years of a healthy life. And good luck, Clay. Students at Christian Academy of Louisville giving back in another story that's positively Wave. Middle school students are assembling 100,000 meals that will help feed Haitian families. Each meal contains rice, beans, and vitamins. The students raised $20,000 to buy the ingredients and materials. Last year, students prepared 50,000 meals. This year, they raised enough money to double that. Great job. New at 11, a popular Louisville restaurant featured on the Cooking Channel, Man's Greatest Food, stopping by Butchertown Grocery on the quest for the country's best chicken. Chef Bobby Benjamin putting his own twist on chicken and waffles by using syrup made with chiles and then topping it with fried rosemary, fried leeks, and some Kentucky mint.
Seasoning that includes flour and cornstarch. Man, that is good. Every component is super flavored. He's done something to the roasting of that chicken because the chicken alone has so much flavor. It's so moist, really tender.
And this is not the only episode of Man's Greatest Food filmed at Butchertown Grocery. Next Wednesday, Chef Benjamin takes on comfort food. Well, what do you think? Is it too soon? We haven't even made it to Halloween yet, but some Christmas lights already up in Jefferson Square Park in downtown Louisville. There's some of the decorations for Light Up Louisville, the city's holiday celebration. It happens the day after Thanksgiving each year, but you can't light up Louisville without a Christmas tree. The city is still looking for someone to donate a 40-foot tall spruce or fir that is well shaped. Do you have one that you could donate to the city? If so, they'd be interested in that. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harnett is joining us right now. Kind of starting to feel like, I guess, the holiday season. It's chilly out there.
It is cool. Just looking like fall out here in the weather garden, though. You notice all the pumpkins, the mums out here. We're looking good. Sooner or later, right after Thanksgiving, we'll have the Christmas decor out here in the weather garden. Meanwhile, we'll enjoy these fall-like temperatures with the pumpkins. Temperatures will be falling through the evening and overnight hours here. We're going to go down into the 30s in many areas overnight. Here in the city, 39 by 8 a.m. You'll see those temperatures cool to begin with and fairly chilly to end with, too. The push of this cool air coming in was with us today and sticks with us over the next few days. We're dry early in the day tomorrow, but that may be changing before tomorrow is up. Small rain chances coming our way by late on Thursday. Well, you see where they'll be coming from. Back out to our west, we've got rain from north to south, moving across parts of Texas into Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, moving past Kansas and Nebraska. Some of this moisture streaming into our area will increase our rain chances, especially on Friday. Yeah, I mean, seems like we've had more Fridays than not with rain this year, so it's spitting. Notice the mainly cloudy sky that builds in tomorrow. We've got a few of these high thin clouds out here tonight over top the full moon. You're going to see clouds continue to build in tomorrow. Rain chances hold off until tomorrow night into early Friday morning. That marks a wet morning commute. Yeah, keep that in mind Friday. That could slow you down. You need the rain gear at the bus stop early Friday, and then it becomes a little more scattered in the afternoon hours on Friday and should be starting to fade out of here by Friday night. It's cool out here in the weather garden. It's 49. Feels like 45. We've got a wind out of the east-northeast, about 8 miles an hour. That adds a chill to the air. We'll drop to 39 tonight, partly cloudy. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies, 58 the high. Here's the 7-day breakdown. We mentioned that small rain chance Thursday into Friday. Friday holds the best chance of rain out of all of the days ahead. You'll see that's mainly in the morning to midday hours, and then the rain chance fades. We'll see by evening for the high school football games, 20 to 30% chance. That lingers into early Saturday, too. Morning temperatures in the 40s for the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer walk. That's down at the Great Lawn Waterfront Park. Temperatures will climb into the low 50s, and that's where we'll be around noontime for the kick of the Cards game. So if you're headed to Cardinal Stadium, plan accordingly. Temperatures top out in the upper 50s by afternoon. Rain chances minimal. Can't rule out a little drizzle on Saturday, so we'll keep that in mind, and we'll be fine-tuning that over the next day or so. But nonetheless, it's a small rain chance compared to where we'll be again on Sunday, so we're sort of bookended by heavy rain chances both Friday and then again on Sunday. As this area of low pressure slides in, that will increase our rain chance for Sunday afternoon and especially later in the day. Sunday temperatures hold below average, something we've been talking about for quite some time. So.
Yeah, kind of weird, huh?
Yeah, it's just where we are.
We're stuck here now. All right, thanks.
Okay.
Kent Taylor is joining us right now, and one of the neat things about the Mack family is how involved their kids are, right?
Well, and you know, you have these jobs, it's hard, you don't get to see your kids that often, so bring them to work. Why not? Still at here at 11. The Macks experience ACC Media Day for the first time. Yes, the Macks. Coach Chris took his daughter Lainey to work with him today. Sports is next. Another year, another head coach for U of L at ACC Media Day. Chris Mack III in the last 3 years. The league's 16 teams got together in Charlotte on Wednesday to weigh in on the fast approaching season. The U of L program finally appears to be settling down.
So much has been talked about our program over the last year, 2 years that
hasn't put Louisville basketball in the greatest of light. But the players I have on our team and the ones in the locker room that I coach every day are high character guys and guys that I've really enjoyed coaching and being around.
I feel like we've established a totally new culture. And like Coach Mack said, it's been in a positive for us, and I think we're headed in the right direction.
With Coach Mack so busy today, his daughter Lainey took over his Twitter account, and she wasn't afraid to take some shots at Pops. Stay tuned, though, for my favorite. That's coming up in just a few minutes, our highlight of the night. Now, the Cards' first exhibition game is Sunday afternoon against a Bellarmine team that's ranked as high as #1 in Division II. Scotty Davenport's Knights are loaded once again.
We have studied Xavier film. We've studied Louisville film. We know personnel. We do have an advantage. Doug was on Coach Mack's staff for 2 years at Xavier, and there's no reason for him to change because he's been incredibly successful. So, what better way to get us ready for our season opener than going into that environment?
Well, it has been 41 years since UK had a winning record in the SEC. They can clinch it with a win at Missouri on Saturday. They can also improve to 7-1 overall. Cats have won at least 4 SEC games for 3 straight years now. That's something they had never done.
We came a long way from, not being so good. We were the underdogs for the longest. Now our time is starting to come. But we still got to have that mentality. We're still hungry. So we got a lot more games to win.
Up next, the field hockey state champion is crowned tonight. It was championship night for high school field hockey. Sacred Heart scored first, and they led KCD 1-0 in the final seconds. The Bearcats cannot put in the equalizer. Valkyries win it 1-0. They're state champs for the 10th time.
That last minute was horrible. It was absolutely terrible. This is amazing. We've waited two years for this. They played a great game. KCD played a great game. It was an awesome night.
Now, for Kent's highlight of the night, this is my favorite of Lainey Mack's tweets today from her dad's account. This one with ESPN's Jay Billis, another bald guy besides Dad.
She's got a great sense of humor, doesn't she?
She does. I would not let my kid. I'm not ready for that just yet.
Well, no.
To let Emerson take over my
that'd
Twitter
be pretty
account.
scary because I know Emerson. Yes. We'll be right back. I just think about what this person is going through. The sole winner of that massive $1.6 billion Mega Millions jackpot from South Carolina. However, there is a ticket worth $1 million, and it was sold in Louisville. The person matched all 5 numbers, but not that mega ball. The winner purchased the ticket at the Speedway store on Faganbush Lane. So if you did, you better check that ticket. This is the 4th $1 million ticket sold in Kentucky in the last 17 days. So
I guess it was none of us.
It's not me. No,
It's
that
not.
winner
it
in South
wasn't.
Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Can you
I don't have any
imagine?
relatives in South Carolina.
No.
They
I
can
mean,
stay anonymous there, right? So we may never
Yeah,
know,
they
right?
can.
Yeah, they can. Yeah. So pretty fascinating. What a nice life they're going to have.
I hope. It seems like they always turn out bad, though, like they go bankrupt within a couple of years.
It's a lot to lose.
Sunrise gets going at 4:30. Much more on what happened today at Kroger.
Expect more right now. Download the Wave 3 News and Wave 3 weather apps and stream the news live wherever you are. Sponsored by Sam Aguiar Injury Lawyers.